Hi, welcome back. My name is James Ramos. I'm here on the show with Lauren Klein.
Yes.
Lauren Klein is an interior designer out of Tampa, Florida. She came by way of Brazil, and first stop was LA.
Yes.
Yeah. So you learned the trade in LA, and then thankfully she and her husband came to Tampa because her husband's from Tampa. So
yes, he is.
So we're grateful to have you, Lauren.
Thank you so much.
In. So I wanted to talk about something that's really interesting. As you're a home designer, but I wanted to talk basically overall, like just some interesting facts about home design. Mm-hmm. You know, some of the trends that are going on today. We know that the market is super hot, especially in Tampa Bay, the west coast of Florida. There's a lot of folks moving into the state these days. So there's a lot of need for renovations.
Yeah.
And there's a huge need for, ground up construction, and it's very difficult to come by. So not always, when you get a home, it's how you want it when you get it, especially that there's more inventory.
Most likely never.
Yeah. And then there's more inventory in the used market. So, that's what makes your role so important.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, I did find a niche, and thanks to you guys as well. We've been collabing in a few projects, and I've been loving it. You guys were exactly what I was looking for when I was coming to Tampa.
Oh, that's good.
In terms of the detailing and everything, it's the high end that I'm really used to. But basically, yes, there's a lot of things that I found a niche in Tampa, and I think a lot of people, like you said, are moving in, and everybody needs some help with their homes, because when you move to a house, hardly ever it's going to be the way you like it, and you're always going to want to change something, and things like that. So the overall, you just have to think. I wanted to give a tip for people that are thinking about designing or thinking about hiring somebody to design. You do have to pay attention. I think you need to focus exactly what your priorities are. What's the weakness and the
strength?
The strengths. Thank you very much. Yeah. The strengths of your home and everything, just to see what the priorities and what everything you want to have in a new project. You just have to think through and not forget pretty much about the elements that you want to include there. That will give your designer a lot more direction of whenever they design a project for you. Right.
I think it's important what you mentioned, like you had said high end, but it's not necessarily
right. It's not necessarily
you've done projects for us, and it's not like you're standing there and like, oh, you need the $12,000 fridge. Right?
No, it's all about the highs and lows too.
The $20,000 chandelier. So what's great about a good designer like yourself is that you really listen.
Exactly.
You're empathetic.
Yep.
So you kind of you have that big ear, and you're writing things down so people know that you're actually taking the order. It's kind of like going to the restaurant and the waiter doesn't.
Yes, exactly.
The server doesn't write down your order, and you're like, it's not that they're gonna forget it. It's just you have the anxiety that they're not listening.
Exactly.
And they're gonna forget it.
And sometimes
the whole time up until you get your food, you're like, damn, I was so nervous. My palms are sweating, and I didn't even think they were going to deliver.
It's like when you have the pressure as an interior designer, you're basically not writing like hand notes. Yeah. You just have your phone and you're actually writing notes about it, but you have to show the person, hey, listen, I'm taking notes, because, you have to, as an interior designer, you do have to ask as many questions as you can to your client. You just really, really have to dig deep into the lifestyle, the desires, the budget, everything like that. That way you can design everything that they need and they are looking for,
Yeah, and going back to what I was mentioning, and then I veered off onto a different topic.
We're both doing that.
But the idea is that, it's not about, that designer and their style. Some people actually go to designers and they have one particular style that they're very good at. And a lot of times they don't necessarily listen because there's going to be some things that the client wants to incorporate and things, and you can't have that professional across from you, mandating the look and the feel and the paint colors and everything that they're successful with, or maybe they have a playbook on, right?
Right.
So what you've shown, and you've been able to really have a diverse set of skills that you can actually listen, and depending on what the clients want, you can offset and fill that, the technical needs.
Yes, absolutely. And obviously there's a certain type of style, if it's extremely traditional, or let's say a Baroque style, I'm most likely not going to be your designer. Right. But Other than that, all the traditional, transitional, the modern, contemporary, the farmhouse now trending, things like that, I'll definitely be able to help you. Exactly, you're absolutely right. You have to listen to your client. You can't impose a style, or you can't impose certain items just because you think they're the best for your client.
Right.
You just have to really have big ears and listen to your client's needs so you can design the home for them, because every project is different. Every person is different. You have a different sense of style. You have a different, we've done ADA bathrooms before and things like that. It all depends. Everybody has a different thing that they're looking for. So that's definitely important.
Yeah. So help me fill in the gaps. So let's just talk about trends. So I know that the biggest trend right now is actually a big kitchen.
Yeah.
Right. And
the
then
island.
we're the dining room of the old is getting replaced with a dining area in, or off the kitchen.
Yes, absolutely.
The kitchens are open to family rooms.
Open concept all the way.
Yeah.
Everybody wants that.
The family rooms and the kitchens are open to the exterior living areas. Mm-hmm. So
outdoor kitchens as well.
Outdoor kitchens. So you have, a close proximity from your indoor kitchen to your outdoor kitchen.
Exactly.
Right. What else?
Outdoor dining room as well, just right outside of the dining room, which is the open space now. Trending styles like, for example, terrazzo is coming back.
Yeah.
Aren't you excited about that?
Yeah.
I am, actually.
Yeah.
They have such a fresher take on what they were in the past, and they could be a fun element. You just have to design it in a timeless manner. That's what it's important to. But terrazzo is coming back. The wallpapers are back full force.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. But they have a fresher take on it. You don't want to do.
So where do people find wallpaper these days?
So
it feels like Amazon is.
Etsy
closed.
is a good.
Etsy?
Etsy has a lot of
I thought Etsy was just your own homemade stuff.
You can order. Yes, you can. There are some companies on Etsy. I ordered from a place called walnut.com.
Okay.
A lot of
you
wallpapers.
Get samples.
You can get samples. Yes, you can get samples. Believe it or not, Urban Outfitters has peel and stick wallpapers that they are a little bit of a boho style, so not for everybody. Yeah.
You have to lick it.
No, you don't have to lick it. you just peel and stick on the wall. So yeah, those.
So just those. So wallpapers. Traditionally, what we've done with wallpapers are just like one room, like the powder room.
Yes, yeah. You're not going to wallpaper every place either. There's a place for it.
20, 30 years ago with the grass.
Oh yeah.
What's it called?
Grass cloth.
Grass cloth.
Yep. Still.
That was just
still going.
Super popular.
Still going strong.
I remember that at my parents' home. We had grass wallpaper everywhere.
But they are good. You just have to be mindful of where you're gonna place it. What's the overall concept? You can't just put a Grammy flowery wallpaper somewhere and expect it to look good without tying in everything. You just have to coordinate everything with that. But I do love a wallpaper in the powder room. I do. It depends on what type of wallpaper, what type of style, of course, but that's a good trend coming back. Then obviously you have other things like the farmhouse things, which is the shiplap. There's a little bit of a more modern take on the shiplap nowadays. Mm-hmm. Instead of doing such a wide plank and so patinaed, you can do a narrower plank, but just spray painted. That's a modern take on it, but it's still a shiplap. Molding, wainscoting. Molding is not only outside of the traditional homes, they're actually being incorporated in a more transitional bohemian style and all those things. So all those trends are very important. It's just knowing how trendy they are and designing the overall as a timeless design. You don't want to look back to your house and say, oh my God, this is completely like we used to do in the 90s. Remember? You look at a house and you look at the house, you're like, oh yeah, that's the 90s right there.
And reflective ceiling designs. Mm-hmm. I think, a lot of times when we build a home, depending on the budget of the client, what's really cool about when you're finished with a ground up home or finished with a renovation, you really don't need any furniture in the home because it feels like it's already decorated.
It's already completed. Yeah.
But in order to do that, it's really hard because it's, not just, doing great flooring and wainscot and, trim and, door with nice door profiles, good cabinetry, good crown. You got to do the ceiling.
Yeah.
And people don't realize how difficult it is.
Poor ceiling is forgotten.
Yeah.
A lot of times,
once the ceiling layout, because you got your can lights.
Right.
You got an air vent.
Yep.
and then a smoke alarm
Smoke detector.
in some rooms. You know, and then if you throw speakers in, it looks like, you know, it's a face with a bunch of zits.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just
a
like
perfect description.
acne. You got acne on the ceiling, you know, and it's really hard to lay it out.
Yes, it is.
Because the plans, you know, as I mentioned before in the past, some of the past shows, but, you know, you don't necessarily need a reflective ceiling plan, you know, to pull a permit.
No, yeah, but
if
you
you don't
should
have
do
the
that
details,
study
you
though, for
absolutely
sure.
should do that.
Because, you know, you want to, at least if you're going to have, like you said, a lot of zits on the face, you need to make sure they're at least lined up. You know, things like that are important, because otherwise it just looks like you, out of the blue, put them randomly on the ceiling, didn't even pay attention to it, didn't put any detail or work into it, and it will show.
Yeah, and especially, you know, when you're thinking about like how much money should you put toward the interior design and put toward the construction. I mean, I always say the rule of thumb is 8 to 12% of the total budget should be put toward your interior design team. And that interior design team could be architecture, it could be, you know, just an interior designer, if it's an interior renovation. But all of that pre-construction work is super important.
Extremely important. Yeah.
You know, so going back to trends, you know, I know another trend is, you know, a great master bath.
Yes. I mean, who doesn't like a master bathroom, right? Especially with a freestanding tub, and if you can even put it close to the window where the natural light is coming in, oh my God. Have a glass of wine, maybe.
So what are the ways that you collect information? You know,
so the way I usually do it is I send a questionnaire to the client, and with a lot of questions, like, for example, what finishes do you like? What are you looking for? Is there any material that you're looking for? You know, do you have special requirements to it? Like, for example, if sometimes what I found is that if the client is a little older, they're thinking, you know, for the future, they want to make sure they have enough room for possibly, God forbid, but possibly a wheelchair or a walker and things like that. So all of those questions are in a questionnaire where we send it to them, and they responded back to us with, sometimes I even like doing the reference style images where you send the images to, and you incorporate, you know, we're talking about that as well.
We'll talk about that.
Right. So sending that gives you a really, really good direction on where to go and how to design it. You know, a lot of people like doing like I said, the freestanding tub close to the window, because natural light is never a bad idea, and it's always good to have. So yeah, those are trending, but that's how I usually get the information from the client for a master bathroom. You know, you definitely want to make sure you're putting everything that they want. But you can see a lot of trends, like, for example, going back to the trending topic, you can see a lot of marbles or a lot of porcelain tiles that mimic marble nowadays. Nowadays, they are actually really, really good. You can install that on the floors, on the walls, the subway pattern, which is also a trend. And now I'm getting a little bit over it, I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to do like different patterns with the same size tile, for example, just so we can create something different, you know, bring some uniqueness to that project particularly. So things like that. Yeah, that would be the master bathroom.
Yeah, so and one to think of, you know, something to think of when you're doing the design. If you have a good interior designer, it's not your role to go in and actually be creative and also, you know, have money in mind. You know, so a good interior designer is that, you know, you need to lean on them, show them pictures. We have a couple ways that we collect images, like what Lauren was saying. One is a questionnaire. We have this style quiz that we're coming out with, but it's styling and profiling. So we're trying to profile the client and get their style at the same time. So it's kind of like being at the eye doctor, where it's like, you like A, B, or C, and then it's like, oh, I like B, and then you like B, D, or E. So at the end of this very pictorial type item, we're just trying to collect information of what you like. But bringing pictures, in the past we would say clippings, and then circle what you like, because you'll look at the picture 5 days later and you'll see 10 different things.
And you don't know what to look at.
You don't really know why you picked it. On Houzz or on Pinterest, you can actually write notes. You know, the new way to do it.
Yes, absolutely.
Are magazines around anymore?
Yes,
only
they
when you
are.
travel.
They are. I love magazines still. That's
why
the
they're
thing.
like $15.
Yes. But now you can also get the digital version of them, which is good. But I'm an old style girl.
Yeah.
I like the paper.
And the interior designer is their job is to get your style that you want, and then they're going to go in and price it. So
yes,
I always like to use the analogy. I don't know what the magazine is, but it's a female focused magazine, but they show a beautiful movie star, with their $10,000 clothes, and then they have all the examples of where to buy, the lesser expensive items.
Right. The versions, the similar versions to
that
it.
were the knockoff. So,
yes.
So, and then the other analogy that I like to use is, there's a excellent restaurant called Burns in Tampa, and they have like the largest wine selection in the world. And I've been there with clients and friends and things, and it's really easy to order a $300 bottle of wine and to beat your chest and say, man, this bottle is great. Well, I hope to hell it is. You just paid $300.
Oh my God.
But find me the bottle that's $50 that tastes like the $300 bottle. And that's, I think, what really makes, moving in back to
design,
that we're talking about, but what makes a great interior designer.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah. And there's always what we were talking about before too, tricks, you don't necessarily, like you said, you don't necessarily need to have that $12,000 chandelier to make the room look pretty. You can find items that are much lower than that in price and then achieve a similar style that's still going to be beautiful, For example, if a room is very, very small, and you want to make it look bigger, just obviously you're going to have to clean it all up, but that's that, right? Get the stuff out. But
that's why we pay you the big bucks.
Exactly, that's right. See, I know what I'm talking about. But basically, if the room is small, you definitely want to use lighter colors. Right. Unless you really purposely want to go moody. Use brighter colors, lighter mirrors are always a good trick. Things like that.
Smoke mirrors are coming back.
Smoke mirrors are coming back. The antique mirrors. Which we're doing in a client now. I don't know. We're doing one, so it's gonna be fun. I want to see how it's gonna turn out. But yes, all of those little tricks, they come in handy when you can't spend a lot of money. For example, like paint. If you don't have the money to do a wallpaper or something more intricate like that, you can always do a design with the paint colors. Yep. You can. There's like some styles that are trending right now that I see in kids' rooms, for example. They're doing mountains only with the paint. Wow. So those are tricks that you can always do. Yeah, it's super cool, and it's cost effective.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. You're
Lauren
so welcome.
Klein.
Yes.
My name is James Ramos with Renovate with Ramos, and I would love for you to like this video, and also if you'd like to follow us, you can go to ramoscompanies.com and actually put your email in. We send out a lot of great information. There's over 100 hours of information on our website, and we do a lot of great projects, and we'd love for you guys to follow us and give us a thumbs up. Take care.